Hey there friends, it's Mandy. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have a very special yoga for bedtime practice for you all today. So you will not need any props for this practice, but whenever you're ready, get yourself in some comfy clothes and let's get into it. All right there, friends. I am so excited to be back with another yoga practice for us all today. As I mentioned earlier, this is going to be a very lovely, relaxing bedtime yoga practice. You will not need any props for this practice. If you have a mat, wonderful. If not, maybe find a place on some carpet or softer flooring. If you have that available, you might even just lay a blanket down. That is all you need. As you can see, I've got my very cozy, comfy sweater on, as well as some nice fuzzy socks. So I definitely encourage you all to get cozy as well. So before we start our practice today, I thought it would be really nice to start by pulling a card, which is how I always started my live yoga classes. So I thought it'd be really fun to carry that into this video here as well. So the deck that I have used for us today is the Winter Seer Animal Oracle by Ciolo Thompson. I did a deck unboxing and first impressions of that video. You will see that in my previous video that I did. And it seems we have a bit of a stalker card situation going on, but the card that I have pulled for us is Magpie, with the keyword duality. So if you watch that video of the unboxing that I did of this deck, this is actually the card that I pulled to do a little bit more of an in-depth reading from the guidebook. So I had a good little chuckle to myself when I saw that this was the card that I pulled for our intention for our yoga practice. And if you're unfamiliar how I use these cards for our yoga practice, please keep in mind this is not a specific reading for anyone in particular. This is just a very general card pull used to help guide our intention for our yoga practice. So take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Simple as that. But as I mentioned, the card that I pulled for us today is Magpie with the keyword duality. And another keyword that the magpie comes up with is speech. They're highly intelligent, very vocal little birds. So definitely speech is another thing that can come up with this card. So immediately when I think of the magpie, with regards to our yoga practice, particularly with the keyword duality, I immediately think of the duality within our yoga practice that is effort and ease, right? When we practice yoga, we are always trying to find a balance between those two things, between sthira and sukha, effort and ease. And with today's practice, I feel like today is definitely going to be a little bit more along the lines of the ease, but where I feel like the duality comes into play is that so often in our everyday lives we are constantly hustling and bustling and very much in that highly productive mindset, right? That we often forget to really take time to just calm and soothe our bodies, relax our minds, and really just allow ourselves some time to down-regulate our system. So I feel like that is going to be where the duality comes into play, is that it's really important to remember with our very, very busy lifestyles that it's so important to take that time to really get into that parasympathetic nervous system, right? That kind of rest and digest mode, and really allow the body to calm down and just take that little bit of time of quiet and peace for ourselves. Especially if we work a stressful job or whatever it is, it's always important to take that time to really slow down and allow ourselves to nurture our bodies and our minds in that way. So that is our card for today. That is duality with the beautiful little magpie. I absolutely love this card. The artwork is so gorgeous. Again, make sure to check out my Winter Seer Animal Oracle unboxing if you want to see a little close-up of this card and a little bit more in-depth of that deck. So we are going to get started today. Find a comfortable seat. I am sitting in our Sukhasana or our easy pose, a simple crisscross pose. This is comfortable for me. If you find that this is uncomfortable on your hips or your knees, you're absolutely welcome to kind of stretch your legs out, your feet a little bit further. You might even come sitting upright onto your heels if that feels good for you. So take a little bit of a moment, take some time to get comfortable. If you're really struggling to find a comfortable seat, then I do encourage you. You can even come laying down onto your back. That is a wonderful option too. Or you can even sit in a chair. You do whatever works best for you. If we're sitting, we are going to start to sit a little bit taller in our seat, relaxing down through our shoulders. Have your palms resting down comfortably on the tops of the legs. And take a moment, close your eyes. And let's just allow ourselves a moment here to really just arrive on our mats. Softening down through our shoulders. And really just noticing where we are today. Noticing the general qualities of our breath. Noticing any thoughts that may or may not be running through our mind. And notice any sensations that you might be feeling within your body today. And if we find something that we might not necessarily like or feel comfortable with, that's okay. We don't need to have any harsh words with ourselves, right? We're simply allowing ourselves to step into the role of the observer. So simply notice what is happening. There's no need to pass any judgment on what we find. Beautiful. Let's all now begin to take a deep cleansing breath in through the nose. With the sigh, let it go. Perfect. Inhale, begin to grow up a little bit taller through the spine. Exhale, softly begin to drop your chin down to your chest, allowing your head to hang heavy here. Really starting to stretch, opening up across the back of the neck, across the tops of the shoulders. Just sending some deep, loving breaths to our neck here, allowing it to let go. On our next inhale, let's softly begin to roll our right ear to our right shoulder, releasing the left side of the neck. If you'd like, you can even begin to extend those left fingertips out to the side if you'd like to deepen the sensation. If you extended those left fingertips, softly return them back to the top of the leg. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, softly roll your chin back down to your chest. Inhale now, left ear to left shoulder, feeling that release on the right side of the neck. Again, you're welcome to stay here, or if you'd like to deepen the stretch, begin to extend those right fingertips off to the side. Feeling that differing sensation through the arm, through the shoulder, through the neck. If those fingertips are extended, return them back down to the top of the leg. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, roll your chin back down to your chest. And as we inhale, softly begin to lift your head all the way back up to neutral. If they're not already, allow your eyes to very softly flutter open. Beautiful. Now from here, we're going to gently bring ourselves onto our hands and knees. So bringing our hands in line with our shoulders, our knees in line with our hips. And let's start to softly tuck those toes under here just to get a nice little stretch through the feet while we're here. Spread your fingertips out nice and wide. And as we inhale, let's come into our cow pose. Tilt your tailbone up, soften the belly down, open the chest, lift the gaze. And as we exhale, come through our cat. So tuck your tailbone, round your back, drop your chin, allowing the head to hang heavy here. Beautiful. Again, inhale through your cow, starting from the tailbone. Exhale through cat. Beautiful. One more. Inhale through cow. Exhale through cat. Inhale back to your neutral spine. Softly untuck the toes, come to the tops of the feet. Walk your hands slightly forward here. We're now going to begin to take our hips and bump them a couple inches over to the right, forward, left, and back. Coming into these nice gentle hip circles here. You're welcome to make these circles as large or small as you like, but I do encourage you to go nice and slow, maybe even giving yourself some time to pause, lingering into any areas that might feel a little sticky or might just need a little bit of extra love. You might even come back into a child's pose for a moment. And as we take this movement here, I really invite you to remember our friend the magpie here, reminding us of that duality. This is our time to really slow down. There's a time to rush and there's a time to hurry, but this, on the other end of the spectrum, is our time to slow down and release. Let's take those circles in the other direction. And so often when people come to their yoga practice, they really want those strong, powerful flows. But there's always two sides to every coin. And both aspects are equally as important as the other. Neither is better than the other, but they are both needed. Beautiful. Let's all begin to meet back into a child's pose. Take your big toes together, knees wide. Sink your hips back to your heels. You're welcome to extend your arms forward, bringing your forehead down to the top of the mat. If this is uncomfortable on your shoulders, or if your forehead doesn't quite reach the mat, then I invite you to stack your hands or stack your forearms and rest your forehead down on your arms. And I think this is actually the option that I am going to take for myself today, because it's sometimes nice to feel a little extra supported. Feel your hips relaxing down to your heels. And send some deep, loving breaths into your back body. Again, with this practice, we're rounding out the day, taking this little bit of time to nurture and calm ourselves so that way we may drift off to sleep much more easily. Beautiful. Very slowly here, let's just begin to lift our head and chest out just a few inches. Extend your left arm forward. We're now going to take our right hand, thread that right arm underneath the left armpit. The back of that right hand is down onto the floor, and slowly begin to lower down. So now you can bring your forehead all the way to the mat, or the option that I like to take is bend into that left elbow and rest your forehead onto the forearm. And if the forearm isn't enough of a support here, then feel free to grab some pillows, grab some blocks, grab some blankets, grab some books, whatever you have near you that you can kind of use to prop up your head a little bit higher. The beauty of watching a video recording is that you may pause at any time And go grab some props if you need them. Beautiful, feeling yourself release into that shoulder just a little bit more. On our next inhale, slowly lift our head and chest up just enough to start to unwind, extending that left arm forward if it's not already, followed by the right. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Take the left hand, thread it underneath the right armpit, back of the hand comes down to the mat. Lowering down, forehead either comes to the mat or bending that right elbow now, forehead resting on the forearm. Or again, if you grabbed some props earlier, you're welcome to continue resting your head on those props. Feeling that release into the outer portion of that upper left arm now. Also still having a really lovely stretch in our hips and our back body with this wide knee child's pose. Continue breathing into your back body for one more cleansing breath. Beautiful. Slowly begin to rise up. Extend your right arm forward, extending your left arm forward, and I'll very gently begin to use your hands to walk yourself upright. Begin to shift your hips over to one side, begin to gently swing those legs forward and around. And start to scooch so that way you're sitting more towards the center of your mat. Your knees are bent, soles of the feet down onto the floor. With your hands onto your knees, slowly begin to use your arms to lower yourself all the way down onto your back. And give those knees a very gentle little squeeze here. Rocking a little bit side to side. Beautiful. Let's release the soles of the feet down onto the mat. Again, knees are bent. Feet hip distance apart. We're now going to take our arms out wide into a T position, palms facing up. Press into the soles of your feet. Shift your hips a few inches over to the right and then allow your knees to fall to the left, coming into our gentle supine twist. You're welcome to take that left hand and rest them on top of the knees if that feels good for you. And then if it feels okay on your neck, we'll gently begin to turn our gaze over towards the right. If you try and it doesn't work, you're welcome to take your gaze back up to the sky. And again, just allow your entire body to soften and grow heavy here. If you would like to take this twist through that right arm and shoulder, then you can always take that right arm up and overhead. That doesn't feel super great on my shoulder today, so I'm going to keep my arm out in that T position. We're going to hold here for several breaths. So as we breathe deeply into our belly, with each passing breath, feel your body softening and releasing even further into the twist. Softening your shoulders, softening your face. Remembering our friend the magpie, and that it is here to remind us of that duality, how both sides of the coin are necessary. So if you feel like you've been going on full throttle, It is so important to take that time to rest and relax. Very slowly begin to unwind. Take your gaze back up to center. Straighten out your hips. And then we'll change sides. So now shift your hips several inches over to the left, allowing your knees to fall to the right. Making sure that left shoulder stays firmly down onto the mat. If you feel that left shoulder peeling up, just kind of back out of your twist a little bit until it gently comes back down. If it feels all right on the neck, we'll take our gaze over to the left. And then if you took this option on the other side, maybe you take that left arm up and overhead. Again, that's not feeling super great on my shoulder today, so I'm going to leave that arm into that T position. And just as I am making little adjustments here and there based on what I'm feeling in my body, I highly encourage you to do the same. We all have different stories that we carry in our bodies, and we all live such different lives that it only makes sense that we will physically, mentally, emotionally experience these poses in completely different ways. So I highly encourage you to take the time and adjust as you need to. This is your practice, so do what you need to make it work for you. Again, soften through your shoulders, soften through your belly, soften through your hips. We're here for 2 more deep cleansing breaths. Slowly begin to unwind, coming back through center. Gaze up towards the ceiling, straightening out your hips. Let's softly hug those knees into the chest, giving them one last squeeze. Lower the soles of your feet down onto the mat. Take your feet wide, about as wide as the mat, and then allow your knees to knock in together, coming into a constructive rest. And now options, you can take your arms down into a low V, palms up. Maybe your arms are out in a T. You might have your arms in a diamond shape, up and overhead. This is the option that I'll be taking. It is a lovely way to just kind of open up the shoulders and the heart just a little bit more. Allow your eyes to softly close down. And we're going to end our practice just resting here in this constructive rest. Having the feet wide and the knees together is a wonderful way to kind of create some space throughout that sacrum and just have a little bit more support on that lower back, which can be really lovely and soothing to our back bodies here. Feel your entire back body being completely supported by the mat beneath you. Remembering that your yoga mat is your safe space. So it is okay to relax, and it is okay to let go. And if you find you're already feeling pretty sleepy, maybe even allow yourself to drift off to sleep for a few minutes. We're here for just a few more deep breaths. Very, very slowly and gently. Please do not rush. We'll gently begin to roll over onto our favorite side, using our bicep as a pillow, softly hugging our knees towards our chest. Taking a moment to pause here in this fetal pose and just feeling the support of the mat once more. And keeping your eyes closed as much as possible. You're welcome to linger here as long as you like. But when you're ready, we'll slowly begin to use the strength of our arms to press ourselves all the way back upright into a comfortable seat. Once you found your seat, we'll bring our palms together to meet at heart center. Begin to lift your sternum up towards your thumbs as you softly bow your chin down to your chest. Thank you all so much for joining me today for this lovely, relaxing bedtime yoga practice inspired by our wonderful little friend, the magpie. We'll seal today's practice with a single collective breath. Let's take a deep cleansing breath in. And with the sigh, let it go. Thank you again so much for joining me today. The love, the light, and the darkness within me sees, honors, and recognizes the love, the light, and the darkness within you. Namaste.